We have a gentleman in our midst, our brother. He's from South Africa, and his name is Mr. Timothy Simon. Mr. Timothy is who you call an energy expert, and he's going to speak to us about his company on IPP. What I know IPP to be is independent power. What's the last part?
Producer.
Producer, thank you so much. Thank you. So we're going to invite Mr. Simon. He has 5 minutes, and then we go into the panelist session. And even though the all is little, we believe that our experiences could offer some insight into areas where you might have confusion or you might need clarity. So without wasting any further time, I want to invite Mr. Timothy to come on stage and do his presentation real quickly. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's just after lunch and everybody's just quiet. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, it will just be vibrant. Africans, we are vibrant. And Nigerians, we specific, very vibrant people from what I know. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And to the President, thank you for the invite. And really interesting that the first time, we met, you invited me to come, and also Brother Oluwase, thank you for inviting me. So let me just share with you around, power. So Wudomi it's a local native language, in South Africa, Shangaan Tsonga, which means life, Wudomi. So meaning that we're breathing life into the energy space. I often share with people that the reality, when coming to, there's two things that I like a lot. History and numbers. If I say I was in Indonesia on this particular day, I was there. If I say it was exactly 1:09, it was 1:09. Nobody can dispute that. So for me, in God I trust, everybody else must bring me data to prove their point. That's how I work, very simple. So I just want to share with you Wudomi. Wudomi is a company that I started in 2019 in South Africa. By acquiring an existing plant, which is 24.2 megawatt, producing electricity. It was selling to the grid. And often, funny enough, if you are African, you tell people that, this is what, I have. It's like, really? But if you say, I work for this multinational company, people believe that. It's always good. But if you say it's yours, it's always, problematic, at times. So that's a plant, that we own. We are busy with another partner. We are developing that plant into 300 megawatt, in South Africa. And these are other things that we are involved in. But what I want to show you, quickly, is the reality as far as Africa is concerned. These are the numbers, the real numbers. In Africa, of 1.3 billion people that we have, as a continent, we only use 3% of electricity combined. Those are numbers. That's not right. This is Johannesburg. This is Cape Town. This is Durban. I don't want to go everywhere, but just look what's happening here. And we see that as an opportunity. We are called, a dark continent, if you look at the numbers. Equally, the reality in rural areas, in terms of energy penetration, we are sitting with 27%. Those are the numbers that nobody can dispute. So it's an opportunity. So let's go back, here. If you look in unconnected, people in Africa, of the 1.3 billion, you've got 586, million. You can do the numbers. An unreliable grid, you're sitting at 582 million. Combine this number, the picture is not looking good. So, what are we doing in our little corner? Is that, as I shared with you, we have a project that we are busy with at the moment of 800 megawatt. It will move up to 3,000 megawatt. That's a requirement of around 5.5 billion in dollars, that project. And so this is what I chose to share with people, and I'll be specific just now. So we are currently developing this plant in Komati Port. Komati Port is in the border of South Africa and Mozambique. This power plant will be utilizing a pipeline that has been built from Pande Temane in Mozambique all the way to South Africa in Secunda. The infrastructure is already there. So this is the compressor station. So the gas comes from Pande Temane, comes there, get compressed, give it more power to go to Secunda. And then, of course, we are saying to anybody who's interested, because this one we're already developing with Central Energy Fund. Central Energy Fund is a state-owned entity in South Africa. They are responsible for this. They also own 40% of the pipeline that passes there. So we started the project, then we invited them. And we've employed Power China as our building contractor for this power plant. So the opportunities, we're looking at still developing 1,000, another 1,000. And this is the project that we're developing in Mozambique with an Indonesian company called Empasada, EMP. They own hydrocarbons. They were actually displaying, here. So they're going to be giving us gas. They own 2 wells, in this, project, and then we're getting the gas, from them. So this is what we've done. So the interest of time, and equally we are developing 30 megawatt, solar, but in total it will be 100 megawatt for a municipality, in South Africa. So there's an opportunity for offsite where we can work, with anybody. And then of course we develop another one. It's a 200 megawatt solar. We already have a PPA, power purchase agreement, with one of the companies in South Africa, but we just need to scale it up to get to 200. And then lastly, we have a small 250 kVA plant supplying a sawmill. They want to scale that one up to between 1.5 to 2.5 megawatt. It's a hydro plant, and we're looking to that. And the last project that I brought is Blade River Canyon. This is the second biggest canyon in the world, based in Mpumalanga, where I come from. Mpumalanga, by the way, is a local native name as well, meaning the place of the rising sun, where the wise men come from. So that's where we are. So we can chat further in terms of understanding the project. But I always say, even when I was in the corporate sector, no one is coming to save anyone. Africa must come with its own solutions for its own problems. So, but we want to partner with people. It's great to partner with Nigeria, to partner with Indonesia. Everyone is welcome in Africa. So, President, those few words. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for that quite insightful presentation on IPP project and other things you're doing in South Africa. It's quite remarkable, I must say. Thank you, and can we please give him another round of applause? Please, thank you. Mr. Timothy, naturally I have some questions, and I don't know how much time we have, but if we can, do I have your permission to share this slide with? Not all our members are here, for obvious reasons, but I want to seek your permission that we can share this information amongst our members. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Quickly, we're going into the panelist session, and I will be moderating that session. I'm inviting some of our speakers today to join me on that session. I'm going to start with Mr. Yomi Benson, the CEO of Sahara Energy PTE at Singapore. Can we please give him a round of applause? Thank you. It's fine. Left and right. Thank you. I'm going to be inviting Mr. Abdulaziz Salahuddin, CFO for the real estate company out of Dubai, Signature Global Real Estate. Thank you so much. A round of applause for Mr. Salahuddin. Next, I'm going to be inviting Mr. Ricky from Oxitane to join us on the podium. Thank you so much. And lastly, I will be inviting Mr. Felix to join us as well. Thank you so much. Africana Bali, thank you. Thank you. So, thank you all once again. This is in no particular order. When Mr. Yomi made his presentation, I personally had a lot of questions, and I would implore the participant in the audience to please take out your pens and write out questions that you might have. So I will start with Mr. Yomi. He mentioned during his presentation, repeatedly actually, that they are seeking partners in Indonesia that might be able to work with them on several of these projects. My question is, if we as a Nigerian company registered in Indonesia, could that present an opportunity for such a firm to serve as a vendor or partner to Sahara Energy? Is that a possibility?
Communication is key, and having direct contacts with potential companies in that space can be positive. I think that, whilst it's not a terrain that you work in and you're not engrossed in the day-to-day, it's an opportunity to try and meet other companies who have the kind of supply that you need. So of course, having information on ground, I'll bet I do a lot of business in Indonesia. I don't visit that much. I don't have full visibility on ground. I just know the focus is to supply petroleum products, which I do. So yes, having a one-stop shop will make things more efficient.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Amy, for that response. I want to go to Mr. Ricky at this period. Oxitane, when we came to your stand, we realized that you have a certificate from Standard Organization of Nigeria. We also realized that you've been certified and your products are being used by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation as well. For Indonesian amongst us that are looking to enter the Nigerian market, what was that process for you in getting those approvals from several government organizations like NNPC and also Standard Organization of Nigeria? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We have two plant in the country for Indonesia and also in UK. So my partner in UK also already come to Nigeria, and he has done discussion with some people in Nigeria, and also he's working also in the government whether this Oxitane has a good product for air quality. So that's why we have some discussion with the SOM, Standard Organization of Nigeria, and also the upstream and downstream of the petroleum. So we got some support from them and have been tested as well in the upstream and downstream. And we got the letter from the upstream and downstream petroleum and also the sun. So it's not in one night. Actually, there is a time that we should have some discussion, and that's why in the government in Indonesia also invite us in this forum, and to ensure that also we can export from Indonesia, so we can have some working together country Indonesia and also in Africa, especially Nigeria, so we can have some product, and we already manufacture in Indonesia. So we hope that we can support. So that's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ricky. So if you listen to Mr. Felix, how the dream of Africana came about, and we're talking about from passion to a job, to profitability. I want you to take us through that process of having a very, very clear desire to actually cook, make food out of passion, and how that gets converted from a passion to actually a thriving business. I'm sure for me, I've had my personal business for over 20 years in Nigeria, and it was grown out of passion. And I'm sure seated in this very audience, we have people also that nurture the passion, but how do we take a passion? How do we make that a reality and making it a profitable enterprise? What is that process? And what does the down period look like? Thank you, Mr. Felix.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity once again. Actually, cooking being a passion for me, from home, and coming down here and starting from cooking at home, also here in Bali, doing home deliveries and catering services, and for about 2.5 years, covering on the region of the island of Bali, and outside Bali as well, taking it gradually. It wasn't an easy journey at all, but one of the key things there is consistency. Consistency is very important, and also believing in yourself, and also building a good team. You know, the first team that I built was my wife. She was my first team, and from there we raised Indonesians whom we taught how to cook the food, and we raised them and we taught them up until this day, having at least a staff number working there, at least about 15 to 16 people, you know, both in the kitchen and on the floor outside deck, you know. So creating employment also for the Indonesians here in Bali at large. So consistency, like I said, is one of the basic keys, and also believing in yourself. Then doing it gradually, and you know, like they say, a little drop of water could make a mighty ocean. And also, like a journey of 1,000,000 miles begins with a step. You know, so it wasn't an easy journey, but ability for me to keep my head above the waters and believing in what I know, how to do best, and believing in myself, and believing in my team, and believing in my hands, of course, and the skills. So having that wrapped up around me have actually solidified who we are today as Africana Restaurant Kitchen Bali. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Felix, for that, again, insight remarks. I want to go to Mr. Abdulaziz. Real estate, again, is a very sensitive subject. We have people here that either own their own property or thinking of acquiring one. We know your business has real estate interest in the UAE. We know you have in Nigeria and Indonesia, to be precise, as well. What are the programs, or how do a first-time buyer, how can they be nurtured through the process? A lot of information is out there. In Dubai, you pay 10%, you do this, you do that, but from thinking of buying a property to actually going through with that process, what are the things that is required from the part of the investor so that they have as much information as they need before actually venturing into a real estate project? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. So I think the most important thing is, first and foremost, working with a qualified real estate broker. Again, because I think where people make some mistakes is trying to just go directly into the market and maybe look for properties from the developers. But again, if you're able to identify a good real estate broker, I mean a qualified one, he has best knowledge regarding the market. He knows, what project would meet your investment requirements. He understands in terms of the location. He knows the rules and regulations. So he or she will be able to give you the best advice regarding
what investment requirements you need. And that is where obviously we come in. So for us, with with over the years experience that we have, the main thing is to know what your requirements are, because obviously different clients with their own requirements. So once we are able to identify what your requirements, your investment requirement is, then we will take you through the step, stage by stage. The good thing is the Dubai real estate market is well regulated. So that obviously gives a lot of comfort to investors, investing in Dubai. For instance, I spoke about earlier the escrow account, regarding ensuring that the funds, you're paying towards your projects are well secured. So if there's any information you need, that is where, your real estate broker will be able to give you all the necessary advice. For Dubai, to be honest, their transaction is seamless. They've digitalized the whole process as well, so it's again very easy. First thing is to know the type of property you need. Do you need an off-plan project? Do you need, a completed project? Depending on when you want to move in, are you okay with having a long-term payment plan? What is your liquidity looking like? Do you need something where you can spread your payment? Because another good thing that Dubai has is, ease of payment. So most developers will give you from 4 years to 5 years, 6 years payment plan. That's even not considering mortgage, for you to spread the payments, make it easy for you to invest. Another thing that is available in the market is what we call post-handover payment plan, where you can key into a project, maybe pay 50% within the construction period. And again, after the property is being handed over to you, where we can also manage and get it tenanted, you then spread another 50% post-handover of the project. So in that case, obviously, the money is coming in from your rent is also contributing towards the substantial payments as well. So again, it's mainly dependent on what the requirements are. So once we are able to identify what what your needs are, then we'll be able to take you through the whole process.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdul Aziz, for that in-depth response. We're going to take this a bit deeper, and this is meant to be thought-provoking. So, as an investor, I have $500,000, and you are my consultant or broker, and I'm asking you, should I put this money in Nigerian real estate? Should I put this money in Dubai real estate? Or should I invest in Indonesia? Based on your expertise, because this is actually a real question that happened between myself and a friend of mine that was actually ready to commit some funds. And the truth of the matter is, if you know the Nigerian market enough, a property you bought 2 years ago for $500,000 within a year, depending of course on the location, would be appraised for quite a decent amount of money. So in terms of returns on investment, right, pushing aside the regulatory factors, where would you advise an investor to place their investments in Dubai, in Nigeria, or in Indonesia? Thank you, Mr.
Thank you again, Mr. Walu. So again, as I said earlier, first and foremost, looking at what the buyer needs, right? So in terms of where you need to invest, for instance, in Nigeria, there's a lot of perception. Again, that's why I said for us, the first thing we do is to ensure that we do due diligence with the developers we work with. But if there's someone who wants to invest, obviously, my advice would be to invest in Dubai because number one, they have a more stable economy. The Dubai dirhams has been, 3.65 to $1 for the past 20 years plus. So in that way, you're able to leverage, your funding. Again, they have ease of payment, which will make it easy for the investors to spread the payments. And in terms of return on investment, I've made mention earlier. First thing is tax. In Dubai is a zero-based tax system. Although on your personal income tax, they just introduced tax for corporate tax, but for personal income, there's no tax. Either on your capital gains when you sell your property, on your annual, returns on rent. So whatever returns you earn from Dubai, 100% still comes back to you. Besides the service charges, obviously, which you pay to developers. So again, that also contributes towards the return on investment you have. Unlike if you are investing, for instance, in the UK, in the US, these are tax-based places where most of the returns you are earning goes towards paying of taxes. Yeah. Again, for Dubai, at least you can expect a net rental return on investment of about 5 to 8% minimum, because some people want to go for maybe long-term rentals. However, if you are going for short lets, Dubai is a very good tourist place. So short-term also ends way higher than 8%. So again, it depends on the risk appetite of the investor as well. So that's why I said once we're able to identify what the requirements are, then we'll be able to advise you on what to do. But for investments, to be very honest, because obviously we have to be fully transparent, I think amongst the countries you made mention, I think Dubai is a better place to invest in.
Thank you so much. This is why I say you should really take notes, because naturally, if you were to meet with Abdulaziz, I'm sure there's what we call a consultancy fee, and they would have charged that. Literally, you have to prepare before you can get this kind of valuable information. I want to put my dear brother, Mr. Yomi, on the spot a little bit. Nigeria, our dear nation, has been going through what I would call some element of energy crisis. In between, like Chairman said today, the $20 billion investment by Dangote Industries to the NNPC. The federal government says there's no subsidy. And Nigerians on a daily basis are literally battling with energy security. I'm happy because we were at the same forum yesterday where I believe it was the minister from Zimbabwe spoke about food security and energy security. You can't have a sustainable life if you do not have energy security. So right now, businesses, homes in Nigeria are battling with what we call an energy crisis. Mr. Yomi, if you were to advise the federal government of Nigeria today on the way forward that is practical, that is sustainable, what would your recommendation be? Thank you, sir. I'm sorry I put it on the spot.
That's a loaded question. Wow. The oil and gas industry is still regulated by the government, and they do and should know what's best for their people to ensure that there is security of supply and security for development. There was a plan to deregulate, which they initially did, but the economy needs to grow at the same time, which is not happening. As such, inflation is going up. What would I advise them? I think that I for one, particularly focus on the private sector and not on general day-to-day politics. And I believe that we do have the people in the various positions in the government to ensure that they do make the best decision for the people. My views, I would like to keep my views personal, but I think that the people, the demography is changing in Nigeria. Before you had the super rich and the super poor, and there was no middle class. And now, any country that has a stable government has a good portion of their population within that middle class span. And it is there that we need to create the drive for the nation, and the people have to speak up if they're not happy, to ensure that the people who are elected to certain positions do perform in the best interest of the people. But this is driven by the middle class. As such, those are the people that really need to govern, the people that are elected to govern the country. But I work in the private sector space, and we focus more on doing our business not just in Nigeria but internationally. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yomi. I'm sure you understand his position because, again, discussing government and advising could be a bit trickish, and I do respect your opinion. I want to come to Mr. Ricky. The Indonesian government, as far as 1965, actually established their foreign mission in Nigeria. About that same time, Nigeria and Indonesia were more or less on the same level, economically, socially, and all that. What we have seen now, to 2024, is a wide gap between what Indonesia has been able to achieve compared to what Nigeria is struggling with. What do you think, or what would you advise, from your own professional opinion, that can be done differently in order to harness the natural resources and opportunities, human capital, that Nigeria has in order to thrive like Indonesia is thriving? Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a tough question as well for me.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's why we call it a panelist session.
Yes.
We don't want you to be comfortable, if you don't mind, because yes, that I said at the start of it that it is thought-provoking,
Yes.
and I believe that whatever we say here is actually for the benefit
Yeah.
of this audience. We're not going to play your video to Jokowi or to
Yeah, I think-
we want to learn. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there is a journey for Indonesia as well, but even for politics and also geography. So we have some, but government is now more and more working together with the businessmen. Like they make events that business matching. So the embassy and in every country also to did some homework how that Indonesia can be export to other country, and also what kind of other country can be import to Indonesia. So I think through the chamber Nigeria-Indonesia, I think that will be also what potential that we can have some more working collaboration with Indonesia. So I think Indonesia is still also a development country, yeah, but still in journey. But even better since like last 10 years, I think. So there is no secret, but actually the government is doing they're doing for the trade also. The Ministry of Trading and also the Foreign Affairs have some more collaboration with other countries. I think that's my opinion.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ricky, for that. Thank you so much. I'm going to be coming to my brother, Mr. Felix. So, for men in the room, entrepreneurship is actually a journey, and I believe men here must, if you're running your business and you're married, you must have been asked by your wife, should you have a 9-to-5 or do you want to pursue this entrepreneurship journey? I want to ask you, Mr. Felix, how was your wife able to support you in making a decision to go on the journey of entrepreneurship as against seeking a 9-to-5 engagement, which is what we call a safe bet? Taking the risk, nothing is guaranteed. How were you able to stay the course and remain truthful to your game?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Honestly speaking, entrepreneurship have been in my bloodline, it have been in my DNA. Career-wise, I studied industrial microbiology back in Nigeria, and I found myself in Doha, Qatar. After that, a couple of years later, where I worked in Ahmad International Hospital as a senior laboratory scientist. After a couple of years there, I found myself back to Nigeria, where I went back into business. Because growing up as a college student in Nigeria, My dad used to give me money for school. Instead of me to use the money and go and play and drink with my friends like other people does back in the university, I will use money to go into the local market in Aba, Abia State, and I go to the production section and I have some productions done for me and men's and female wears which I'll take back to school and I will sell them myself and I'll make money. So business and entrepreneurship have always been the game for me, but I had to wrap it up with career and get a certificate to satisfy the curiosity of parents, but genuinely me is entrepreneurship. And when I met my wife, I think she saw that part of me that I'm heading to somewhere, so she came and she gave me the support and we talked over it and she said, babe, if this is what you want to do, you cannot make one full sentence without involving a business conversation. And I see that this is who you are, and her understanding me and believing in me, and also knowing that I have ventured into career 6 to 9 life, and now holding tight to my entrepreneurship game and moving forward on it. So she stood by me throughout and up to today. I've got her support still behind me. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Can we give a round of applause for every single wife here supporting their husband's dreams and aspirations? I'm speaking from experience. I've been married 21 years, 5 lovely kids, and again, this is a thin line between love and hate. Because when businesses don't go right, you take all the blame, and when it does go right, you applaud it. So at times it's a very difficult battle. So we want to start coming to the audience. I believe there's a mic. Mr. Ayuade, if you can, please help to coordinate that. We want to engage the audience. And the fact that the question you have might not be for the panelists seated here. They might be in the crowd. So we have our father, our grandfather in the house with us with years of wisdom. So peradventure, if you have a question and it's above our pay grade, I'm going to have to ask Professor Salawade to please intervene on our behalf. Is that okay, Prof. Sir?
It's okay, no problem.
Thank you so much for all your support, sir. So, we are taking questions. Please feel free, indicate by a show of hand and ask your question. Shoot your shot.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Actually, I want to add a little bit to what Abdulaziz was trying to explain to you. Because when you ask him, where will you prefer to invest? And Mr. President, if you recall very well, my company have invited a company, a very big developer to Nigeria. Sober, yeah?
Yes, yes.
We invited them, it was a big do, and then you will recall too that we took the opportunity of finding out. For instance, if you invest about 100 million in a 4-bedroom, large, big, with swimming pool and everything, if you take the same money and you invest it in Dubai, which will give you ROI better? And we went to the scientific way of dealing with that. A single bedroom in Dubai, a single bedroom, just maybe a studio or something like that, of the same price, of the same everything. Then we now find out that the rent or the return on investment on a single bedroom in Dubai can provide you, depending on the location, like maybe 130, maybe $30,000, $80,000. And we now find out that at the end of the day, if you recall, that investing in Dubai is very secure for so many reasons. In Dubai, there is security. In our country, unfortunately, that security is not there. ROI, we find out as well, it's not as much because a single bedroom of video in Dubai will fetch you more money than a big terrace in Nigeria. And then we took Victoria Island, for instance. And when we find out at the end of the day, you will recall that apart from anything else, only one bedroom will fetch you almost 4 or 5 times the money of investment on a 4-bedroom. And then what is very important too, which you have to notice in Dubai, let me just tell you, you can owe anybody but not on rent. Not on rent. Because it's regulated, not on service charge. It is the government who has taken the responsibility of doing all that. In Nigeria, for instance, when we compare, you can put a tenant in your house with a view of renting the house. The man may stay in that house for the next 3 or 4 years without paying a penny. You know that very well. Because in any country, go and check, a country that has no consequences is a big problem. In Dubai, if you owe any landlord just for 2 weeks only, you stand the chance of being deported from that particular place. Therefore, everybody is very careful. There is consequences. In Nigeria, there is no consequences. I am very happy, but this is on a personal note. We are just discussing with the gentleman here, because to force somebody out of your own house that you invested is very difficult. You see, the court system, everything in our own country, unfortunately, is so bad that at the end of the day, the time we are going to waste, the energy you are going to waste, you find out that at the end of the day, investment in property in Nigeria, from my own personal experience, it doesn't make any sense. And I can tell you this, Mr. Abadogun, we have a property that we want to use we bought this property for the purpose of using it for signature global. The developer rented it. Guess what? This man gave us a check that got bounced, which in the first place is criminal. You know that.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you take them to court? No. We are still on it. Only what we want to use now is to use the avenue of the criminality of giving us a check that got bounced. Therefore, there are so many reasons whereby if we want to invest in Dubai, we are just talking about Dubai, but in any other place, I think it's not the same situation. I'm just trying to explain, because you yourself, you are there when we brought Sobwa to Nigeria for a road show. And you know we have demonstrated it very clearly. Therefore, just to add to what Abdulaziz has said, because if he recall, he would have known that it's not too easy in Nigeria up to now.
That is right.
So I think that's for me, just in addition to what he has said, and I think it's okay. And then with the gentleman, From South Africa.
Okay, Mr. Simon.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
He has put in something that I really love. Energy. Whether we like it or not, energy is the most crucial thing now. Because energy, without energy, there's nothing to be done, let's be honest. Everything is working in Indonesia only because the energy, everything is stable. You will never see for 1 second that the light has gone. In some parts of Africa, in our own place, maybe some people don't see light for the last 3 months. What can they do? So therefore, the energy issue is key. And you miss what they are doing too is very, very important. You see, I'm sorry that when he was presenting his paper today, for any reasonable person, you will key into it. Because what they are doing is the best thing ever. We have the opportunity of handling so many energy sectors, and we know what is going on. Therefore, that energy issue is very important. And he mentioned something too when you are asking him. He didn't want to commit himself? Yes. We are talking about the situation in Nigeria. Is either you are super poor, okay, no middle class. There's nowhere in the world, Mr. President. If there is no middle class in a society, it's not a society. So therefore, middle class is very, very, very important. We don't want to commit ourselves, but the reality is that the middle class is very, very important. Therefore, between you and I, Mr. President, although this forum today, like I said, we are going to improve on it.
Yes, sir.
There are certain issues. There are certain issues that you have to bring to an audience that they can understand. Today, maybe it's slightly different. Mr. President, you have already told us what the reason is. But the presenters, they have done a very good job. Yoni, thank you very much for your presentation. The gentleman from the kitchen too, he has done very well.
Mr. Felix.
Yeah. Yes. Because let's be honest with ourselves, without food, what can anybody do? It's either it's 0, 1 is 0, or whether it's 1 is 0, 1. Whatever it is in a day, everybody has to eat, to live. And what more for him to have got this idea of Nigerian food. For everything anybody wants to do, sometimes it's better you specialize. And the way he went about it is very, very nice. And congratulations to your wife for giving you the support. In fact, when you are saying this, I was so delighted. Actually, I asked the president, let us know what type of food are you preparing. He said, he can come, and you are able to explain. You know, food is another important aspect, which is good. For my friend there,
Mr. Ricky.
Mr. Ricky, yes, I had the opportunity of seeing you yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yesterday, sir. 2 days ago, actually.
2 days.
2 days ago,
actually.
yes.
What you don't try to explain, you did mention that you have plants in Indonesia. You have plants in Britain. but actually your boss told us that their plant is in the UK. Am I right?
There are two plants,
Yeah.
in UK and in Indonesia. So we take a license to produce our product in Indonesia.
Okay, but where is your major plant? Is it in the UK or
No.
is it in Indonesia?
No, in Indonesia. My plant in Indonesia in Jakarta.
Okay. Because what I'm trying to talk about, the gentleman is talking about logistics. Because logistics is very, very important as well. Your product is very important, but people need to know more about that.
Yes.
It's only yesterday, or day before yesterday, we met you, and I'm taking action for your information about that already.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in West African region, they will need it.
Yes. And that's why also we are working together through the embassy, Indonesian embassy in Africa, so we can get some collaboration. I know logistic is the one need to be checked, and our friends, this one, I forgot the name. So, Mr. Ayuade, yeah, we have discussion whether he want to put also representative in Indonesia for his company. So this is good things that we can collaborate.
Now it is very important, to collaborate if somebody knows what you are having or what you are selling. For me, I think it was good enough, but I think I've started an action on that about, I think, yesterday or day before yesterday, we contacted somebody in UK who has connection in the West Africa sub-regions, and then I think they will look into it very critically. So I think, Mr. President, the panelists have done very well. They have given us a sort of platform to be thinking about, and if anybody requires our attention, I'll be glad and delighted to give you. But one thing we have not been able to talk to you seriously, anything we are doing, whether you like it or not, there's nothing you can do without insurance program. Insurance program is very essential, particularly in shipping, where you have to move from one country to the other. And one thing I like in Indonesia, Mr. President, is this. In Indonesia, they make it a point of duty. If you want to sell anything or if you want to do anything, you have to establish in Indonesia. They don't appear to grant or they don't favor the issue of people manufacturing their business and bringing it to Indonesia. No. That's a very good policy. You understand what I'm saying? Because you are talking about something with regard to Dangote. That Dangote you have mentioned is too political, but again, I always say something. Whatever they are producing in your country, whether good or bad, you have to key into it because it's your own country. That's why Indonesia is very good, you understand? Dangote, whether this one contains sulfur, contains this, it doesn't matter. But for me, if I were to be the president of Nigeria, and all the issues the officials of NMP are raising, I would have sacked them. Yeah, because you cannot be, your country, you cannot be putting your country down. Your country first. That's how it should be, your country first. That should have been the issue. So, with Dangote now, when you look at it very well, that is one of the biggest refineries in the world, not only in Africa. Therefore, we need to patronize that particular aspect. And good enough, I think about 2 days ago, the gentleman has announced that they started production or something like that. You may, I don't know whether you heard about that.
Producing gasoline, yes.
Huh?
To produce gasoline, yes.
Yeah, I think I heard something like that.
About 2 days ago, sir. Yes.
Yes. You see, the challenge in Nigeria, people don't understand. Everybody are not happy about the situation. Yes, in life, if something is bad for many years, it takes time to build up. The present president, President Bola Tinubu, is trying all his possible best to make sure that things change. And that is why he even asked Dangote to be paying for the crude oil in Naira, just to make sure all these things are defeated, because the problem we have in Nigeria is that the foreign reserve is no longer there. Our people don't know that in the early days when we were going to school, we used the dollar was just 75 cents to Naira, 75 cents to Naira. We don't need dollar at that time, you know what I mean? We don't need dollar. And when you go to London, Naira is £1 to 1 Naira. Our economy was very, very strong. But now, that the same 1 Naira is now 1,600 Naira to the same dollar. So you can see the difference. So, but another man in the street will not understand this, and that's why they are crying. But whatever it is, if it is, we're in this situation, we just need to make sure that economically we key into our country, so at the end of the day, we can develop the country. And like I said, I mentioned, Nigeria by 2075, Nigeria will be one of the economic power country in the world, all things being equal. Because there's everything in Nigeria. God gave us natural resources. God gave us human resources. There's nothing we don't have. Go to any country of the world, you will find a Nigerian there. If you were to go to Alaska, Nigeria will always be there. So everything, we have it. But unfortunately, we seem to have infinitesimal set of people who are managing our affairs. But that's our own problem, not your problem. So therefore, I think, Mr. President, the panelists have done very well. That's my own judgment about
Thank you so much, sir, Prof. Thank you so much, we can't get enough of you. If not for time, I'm sure we'll continue to listen to so much wisdom from you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
A round of applause
Yes.
for
A round of
the
applause.
esteemed professor who have given a thought to what our guests have said. One more time, let us give him a round of applause. Thank you, sir. And just 1 minute, I will make a few comments on some things he has said about the middle class and the super rich and the super poor. It is a well-known thing in Nigeria today, but as I can tell you that things are actually rapidly changing because people are being aware of what they need to do and how they need to go about it. Recently, we are all aware of the protest that was organized by some youths, about bad governance. This is one of the steps being taken to ensure governments are forcefully, in quotes, start doing what they need to do to make sure our lives are better. And I can tell you things will start changing. So we'll start to see what the economy should be like and how it should be in Nigeria as well. A round of applause for Professor one more time. I also like to comment again on the logistics operation. Yes,
let's take the questions first.
Yes,
it's very important.
Yes,
So that, yes, please. Thank you. Yes, sir. Can you please introduce yourself, your business name, possibly, so that we can get a full grasp?
Name and what you do.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
My name is Mose. I'm from UK, London. I'm an investor in property, real estate here in Bali. So,
Thank you.
my question for our friend from Dubai, our real estate investor.
Mr. Abdulaziz?
So, my question is, in your opinion, where would you say offers a better ROI, just from a returns perspective, in Dubai or in Bali? Because I've invested in both. So it sounds like from the comments that have been made today that the main upside for Dubai seems to be security. But purely from a financial perspective, where would you say offers a better return? And if an investor has a higher appetite for risk, where would you advise them to place their money?
Thank you so much for your question. So again, for us, we would always, talk on the security of your investments, obviously, which is why we always say a lot of things regarding, the regulatory points to what, the regulators are doing in Dubai. Yes, if for Bali, to be very honest, because I'm not too conversant with, investing here, I'm more specialized in investment, in Dubai. But again, we have to look at both the security and also the financial returns as well. And even when you look at the Bali, Indonesia in general, they also have some taxes involved in their investment. The security again is very key. You have tourism here, which is also present in Dubai. So when you look at it holistically, for me, I would always recommend to always have an investment in Dubai. And again, it's always advisable to diversify your investments. So there's nothing wrong. Again, we are also a real estate broker here. We just opened our branch office here, also trying to identify, developers within the region. So even in addition to the Bali investment, it's always good to have something that, is secured, irrespective of what happens in the market. So for me, I would advise to have a secured investment rather than, yes, when you have a good risk appetite, you look at the highest returns you can get, but it's good to always diversify so at least you have, a good leverage on your investment. So that would be my advice. Thank you.
Mr. President, for what Abdulaziz has said, well, it's correct, he doesn't know much about Bali, but you are in the UK, you said, but when you look at it very properly, what is the idea of your investment? Your idea is return on your investment. Therefore, wherever you are in the world, return on investment is very important. Indonesia is very good. Indonesia is a place that if anybody wants to invest in Indonesia, anywhere in Indonesia, the return of investment may not look very, very advisable and lucrative. Why? Government of Indonesia have a lot of avenue of giving their people enough right either to go to the bank to get, fund without any rapport. Do you realize that? Therefore, if anybody wants to invest, if you want to invest for your holiday after your retirement, you want to go here, yes, that is solid. Because Indonesia government takes care of their populace through bank assistance. For instance, now, Abdulaziz, you recall that Indonesia now, if you want to even buy property, maybe the maximum you can deposit will be about 10% or 0%. You don't need to deposit anything, provided you can showcase that you are in Indonesia, and at the same time, you can vouch that you have employment or thereabout. In other countries, it's not like that. The UK you are talking about, you know how long it takes in the real estate in the UK. Let me give you an example of London. In London, don't you know what mortgage is talking about? In London. So therefore, we are talking of two different things. Here, their social life, the way government look into their subjects is quite different. They take their subject first. It's not the issue of super poor or super rich. There is plenty of middle class here who can come in with affordable plan in the house. We have seen this in Jakarta, we have seen it in Tangram, and at the same time, our decision, Mr. President, is that yes, you can buy property here, but if you want to retire. Therefore, the return of investment in other parts of the world is quite different from Indonesia because of their peculiarity. So therefore, life in Indonesia is very, very nice indeed. So there is no problem whatsoever. So people live very comfortably, and that is their business. That look, we are governing. Maybe it's Islamic ideology. They want you to live much better because they call themselves leaders. They don't want to live too much or go away too much from their people. But it's not like that in other countries at all. Go to Germany, go to London, go to America. In America, if for one reason or the other, you have property and you miss your payment for one reason or the other, you are gone. You understand? I mean, you are telling the story of the Ford vehicle. When they closed down in 2008, everybody was wondering a big organization like Ford Automobile to close down in Australia. It's a big deal, and everybody now they will take their property. So it's not like that here. So that are just the two different things, just to let you know that return on investment, you have to live into so many parameters. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prof. Once again, thank you. I hope that answer was satisfactory for you. Thank you. Do we have more questions in the house? Okay.
Please introduce yourself, what you do.
My name is Omar. I'm also from London. Invested in property here in Bali.
Okay.
Back home, I have a medical cannabis company. My question was an open question to the room. So industry analysts say that Africa will be the biggest provider of medical cannabis. So I want to know if there's any plans currently in Nigeria to legalize medical cannabis, and if so, if anyone knows about these plans.
Interesting. So
that question is to my brother in real estate.
No, I was talking about health industry, not real estate, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So
who can I direct the
Which industry
question to
about?
on the analyst?
Medical
Professor.
Okay, you are talking about medical cannabis.
medical cannabis, interesting. Okay. Go ahead, sir, please.
The cannabis you are referring to, is it the drug or what?
It's medical cannabis.
Medical. No, well, to me, I'm not too much about. You know why I just want to talk about this? Because my company, we are involved in providing medical for generality of people. And because we work in collaboration or want to work in collaboration with people in Indonesia. That's why I just want to say, but when you talk about cannabis, I mean, I'm not too sure about, I know much about cannabis or whatever it is, because that looks, if cannabis is what I can understand, is it the drug or what?
Yes, but currently it's medically legal in the UK.
Yeah, you see, the UK, forget about UK. UK is just, you see, hypocrisy is too much in all these countries. When I say hypocrisy, what is not possible is what they tell you is possible. Yes, they want to prove a point that, yes, they can do everything. For God's sake, anybody knows the danger of cannabis. You see, there are certain things that at the end of the day, it's just like alcohol. You don't say you do not take alcohol, but what is the result of your taking alcohol? Because it can damage your liver and affect your life as a human being. But in the UK, everything, the problem in the UK, with them in the UK is the issue of the so-called democracy and human rights. In the UK, they will tell you, if now, they will not ask you, you will be minister, you will be miss, you can call yourself anything you want to call yourself. You see a lot of it doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't make any sense. So they will tell you that when cannabis is allowed, I don't know much about cannabis something, because if you ask me or ask anybody, it's something that can affect your life. And if they say, okay, this can affect your life, it's good for you, well, it's just yours.
Thank you so much, bro. I can't help. I'm sure I'm not the only one to do.
Thank you so much. Any further question? Cannabis is a highly regulated drug. So you must do anything with it for medicine's sake. You would have to go through some stringent regulatory requirements. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that question. Apparently, I don't think we do have the right answer for it. On a more serious note, I know, similar to what you said, that in America is legalized, and they call it medicinal marijuana. I know Jay-Z has a company that actually has invested heavily in that as well. But in terms of the relativity in Nigeria, truthfully, I do not have the information for you. And of course, we have friends in the medical industry. I'll be more than willing to, ask. But again, Nigeria is a very sensitive place. Between NDLA and God knows what, you just want to make sure that whatever you're looking at, you've done your research, and preferably you have the right certificate to back yourself up. But definitely, it's a very sensitive country. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for our brother. Thank you so much. Any further questions?
Okay, on that note, I personally want to thank every single one of the panelists, starting from Mr. Yomi Benson, who has flown all the way from Singapore to join us for this very session. We're beyond grateful for your time and commitment. You all know that Sahara has been our supporter for the last 2 years, and we believe and hope that they will continue to support us as well. Can we give Sahara and LGBT a round of applause? Thank you so much. I also want to recognize our signature global real estate as well, Professor Salahuddin. You have been a father to us in NISI, and even beyond that, you have always been a mentor. So many of us have had to call you for one thing or another, and you've always been willing to assist in any way, shape or form. So we do thank you, and we appreciate your support always, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Abdulaziz, Chief Financial Officer, Signature Global Real Estate, thank you for joining us for this panelist session. Mr. Felix, again, I don't know how I'm going to get my food in Bali, but I need that food. And so do what you need to do and make sure it gets to me. Mr. Ricky, thank you once again for providing information on Occitane. Our brother from South Africa, thank you for your presentation. every single one of you that has, again, taken time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. We do not take your time for granted. We appreciate you. And this event, like I said, was planned in the last 3-4 days, and we will do better next time. I don't want to, I'm the type that take responsibility for our actions. So we can do better. We will do better with your support. So once again, I thank you all for coming. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. So to round up, we're quickly going to take a group picture. So I want to invite everyone to please come on stage while we take a group picture. And in another 5 minutes, some new set of food will be brought outside. So you don't quite need to rush off. You can, like the gentleman from UK, I've actually not met any one of you guys today, so I would love the opportunity to get to know you guys better. You get to know me, and that's the whole essence. Let's interact, let's exchange cards, let's see ways of building this interconnectivity. We have our sisters from Indonesia as well. I know she's involved in production of children's clothing and things of that nature. We met during the Indonesia-Africa Forum, and she wants to bring her business to Nigeria. Who knows? There might be a willing partner in this room, but just don't be shy. Expose and ask questions and exchange cards and follow up on those things. You never know. So I wish everybody luck. God bless you all. Thank you once again. Let's take our pictures.
Bali. One, two, Bali. One again. 1, 2, Bali.